All right. Today, fresh crack of the Glenmorangie 12-year-old, the Lasanta, not to be confused with the 12-year-old, the original these days. This is the 12-year-old Lasanta. Of course, this is a Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton product. Highland Single Malt Scotch Whiskey. This is presented at 43% alcohol. So a little bit more. 43% alcohol, 86 proof. That being said, I'm sure it's chill filtered with color added. And similar to the original, this spends 10 years in first and second fill ex-bourbon casks from Jack Daniels and Heaven Hill. Then it is finished for 2 years in ex-sherry, which is a combination of Oloroso and Pedro Menez. So that's quite a long finishing period. It's not quite a second maturation, but again, 2 years in Oloroso and Pedro Menez. So it's going to be a little bit richer and nuttier and more of that dried fruit thing. Clearly, it's not going to be anything like the 12-year-old, the original, despite 10 years of its maturation being roughly the same. Especially that, I don't know how much of it is PX, but that's quite a lot of sherry impact, a couple of years. And I would say you can tell by the color, but who knows? But like as we said before, this particular offering is, I don't know if it's available yet, but it is going to be available, already announced as a 15-year whiskey. And my guess, I don't know, but my guess would be if we're going from like 10-year-old, the original, to 12-year-old, the original, that might mean that the maturation of the Lasanta might end up being 12 years first and second fill ex-bourbon, and then 3 years ex-sherry, which is like a double maturation. Because that second maturation is as long as it would take to become Scotch again. So that's kind of like a second maturation and not really like a finish, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they say when that stuff comes around. Again, we got this bottle of the 12 so that, whoa, when eventually we can get access to a 15, we'll do a comparison with the 15. Yeah, of course, Glenmo doing great things. They recently put an age statement on their Saturn's cask. That's nice. So you think it used to be non-age statement, now it's 16-year age statement. Solid pop, solid cork. So yeah, we're gonna really see if we can get much of that PX in here, because that would be really exciting if this one really got a good hit of those PX elements, but I don't have my hopes up. This may be just enough PX to say they put it on the bottle. I don't know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head if I know of any Glenmo whiskeys that are like PX finished or PX matured or have PX as a main component, and I can't think of one. Surely there's something, but if that's the case, then maybe there's some rich PX elements to this. I don't know. You would think they'd be using those PX barrels for something else, but it seems too economical, too fair of a price. Now, again, of course, it's only 43% alcohol, only 12 years of age, but it's not too bad. All right, here's a color you get, and again, some amount of that's real, and some amount of that is maybe not real. I don't know. as you know. The legs aren't super thick, but they run pretty fast. There's a lot of them, though. Oh. I'm just going to give that a minute. First initial impression off the top of that is like cocoa powder, but I've kind of noticed that again, like, I don't know what it is, but for me, like, these sherried whiskeys, my very first note off of them tends to be like cocoa powder, like just for a second, then it goes away. So I don't know if that's like, again, some kind of like sherry mixed with like a little bit of that ethanol that's escaping at first, and it kind of like hits like cocoa powder, but I feel like I always at the very first note get like some kind of cocoa powder thing, and then it just like goes away and I never get it again. So I don't know what that is, but oh, you have to get some of those raisin dried fruits in there, kind of like you expect from your typical like sherry cask thing. But there is a little bit of richness there, a little bit of oomph. Like if you were to like ask me like, you know, like it's more on the like fruity, red fruity side than on like the nutty side. So like some of these Oloroso sherry butts, they like come across really super nutty and like spicy and leathery, and this one is really hitting more up on the red fruit character. And again, we might assume that has some percentage to do with whatever amount was finished in Pedro Menez. It's just slightly a bit juicier than I would expect. The one unfortunate part for me so far is the nose is not very vibrant. A little bit of malts in there too. The one, yeah, that's the one thing for me is I feel like I'm hunting a little, like it's just a little bit. Like the aroma's not nearly as strong as I'd prefer. And that's kind of strange because coming off of the 12, the original, and really even the 10, but almost for direct comparison's sake, I didn't find that I had problems like getting the main aromas on the original. And this one just feels a little tame. Like it's kind of weird because again, this is offered at 40% alcohol, and this one is at 43% alcohol, and it's got sherry in it. But it feels like I'm having to hunt a little bit more, try to dig a little bit more to get the same level of aroma. And that might be like a neck pour thing. It's possible. But I'm really having to get a little bit extra in there, despite the fact that it's the same age with sherry at a higher proof. There's just a twinge of like sweetness in there. It's like, yeah, the dried fruit, slightly red fruit, kind of you expect. Some of that malty character is in there, and some sweetness. But, oh man, I'm hunting just a little bit too much for me. It's kind of weird. I didn't really expect that out of the Lasanta, I guess, because to me, I kind of felt like this would end up being like a better, just like a solid upgrade kind of offering. But the original served my nose better, I think. I don't know why that is. Again, maybe we'll just give it a month or two air and see if that changes. But I wouldn't be like sticking on it so much, but I feel disappointed. I feel disappointed in the aroma already. And I didn't expect to, so. Either way, yeah. Glenmo. 12-year-old Lasanta on the ballot. Cilantro. Hmm. Doesn't hold flavor in the palate though. Palate's pretty good flavor impact, so that's not disappointing. That being said, it's kind of a little different. Honestly, kind of drinks more like sherry bourbon mix than it drinks like bourbon finished in sherry. It doesn't hit like super sherry bomby on the palate. You do get some of that dried fruit character, but you actually get some good buttery notes. Some of those like sweet malty notes on the palate that you kind of like assume is like kind of more kind of bourbony kind of notes. Those are definitely really super present. The finish honestly kind of just reminds me of the original. It's like there's a little bit of that dried fruit element, but it's not super loud. It's still kind of like, some wood in there, some malts in there. Overall, like way maltier than I would have expected. Oh, it's kind of an interesting development on the nose, but what would you call that? Um, it's not like brown sugar. It's kind of like brown sugar, but it's not quite right. It's like, it feels like a midway between molasses and brown sugar. Yeah, there's definitely like, it's kind of like a very rich sweet note on the bottom of it now. Not too bad. Kind of overpowering a little bit on the nose, and is in like it's hard to get another thing. Again, maybe not the best intensity of aroma. Yeah, I think the one thing that surprised me is I guess I didn't expect it to be so malty. Like I'm getting a lot of malt character. Like that slight amount of kind of barley, grain, like cereal kind of thing. With that like kind of intense kind of like, I don't know, mix of brown sugar and molasses. That kind of like raisin dried fruit thing is like all but gone. It honestly shares some similarities with the 12. Not the 12, the original. Like I'm pretty sure I can just like I feel like I can detect that Glenmo original DNA in here, and I guess to some certain extent, this bottle kind of starts as a Glenmo 10, the original, and then gets sherry finished. So that kind of makes a lot of sense. It's like the same bottle as the 10, the original, and then sherry finished, slightly higher proof. So some of that, like a little bit of like DNA is in there. I mean, so I'm not like getting like the citrus hit that you normally get. But I feel like that kind of like slightly vanilla malty components are both kind of easily present. They're not drowned out. And the palate's still like, still pretty good intensity on the palate. It's kind of like sugar-coated dried fruits with some malty character and like an underlying kind of like syrupiness. Finish still has like that barrel impact, that malty character, slight spice, not very much. Finish on it is like maybe slightly disappointing, maybe like medium minus. I guess I expected the sherry parts to be louder on this. For some reason, I expected to get more sherry components, but for me, it's like it's hitting pretty well. Like the thing is, I guess like if I had this blind, I would guess like this is like a bourbon sherry mix. This is like a Bunnahabhain kind of thing where it's like a good amount of sherry in the blend, like not like a low amount like Glenfiddich or something like that where it's like 15%, like a 50-50 sherry bourbon or something like that. And I guess to some extent, you know, having a long bourbon maturation and then having a sherry finish, you know, is kind of like that. But usually that sherry is a little heavy, a little takes over a little bit. And I'm not finding that here, so that's not like not a bad thing. It's not like sherry balmy again. It's got like some of those kind of sweet bourbon, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of spice from like that like bourbon kind of cask related stuff like sitting in there, and the malt is still present too. It's not been drowned out. But I kind of expected more sherry, I guess. It's not a bad thing. It's just like not what I expected, I guess. Now I did expect a little more out of the aroma that I wish it was like a punchier. It's very strong on the low sweetness, but I feel like I'm having to go at it a little too much, you know? It's not bad, but it's not. I don't know. It's weird. It's like not. It's not hitting like I would have expected. I'm not like pleasantly surprised, I guess, but I don't know why. What do they say? Um, endless horizon of rich spice and sun-drenched sweetness. Rich, spicy, and sweet with notes of raisins, honeycomb, chocolate-covered hazelnuts, and cinnamon. Well, I can't give you a hazelnut note, but I wouldn't give you a nut note on this at all. I mean, I can get there on honeycomb, but I don't think there's like chocolate and cinnamon in this. Cinnamon note is minor at best. I'm blanking on chocolate. It's pretty good, but expecting more sherry, I guess. That being said, I usually like these like drams that kind of have like a mix, bourbon and sherry like mix, so that you kind of get like a bit of both elements. And it's not bad, but it's like the profile just like doesn't hit with me. I don't know what it is. Like it's like just not quite fruity, like red fruity enough. Like that red fruity hit kind of like hit me right away, and I was like, oh, this seems like it's pretty, you know, it's on that like slightly juicy sherry side. And it didn't kind of land like that. It kind of landed more dry. And then like the nose just went all sweet notes. I guess like my best verbalization is like I'm disappointed in the nose. And the palate's like kind of interesting. It's not too bad, but like the finish is like kind of like whatever too. And I think it's just, I don't know, maybe I expected more. Maybe I need a 15-year-old. Maybe that's what I need. Like I would rather take the original if I had a choice, right? Because it has like more distinct flavor profile, more unique flavor profile for me. And it like also hits better on the nose. Like the sherry did something here, but I'm kind of like whatever about it. I don't know. I'll have to sit with it. Maybe some air will help. It's like the embodiment of okay. It's okay. It's like it's good. it's it's good. That's what we'll say. It's good. We'll call it good.